No New Year's Day to celebrate. No chocolate covered candy hearts to give away. No first of spring, no song to sing. In fact, here's just another ordinary day. No April rain, no flowers bloom, no wedding Saturday within the month of June. But what it is something true, made up of these three words that I must say to you. I just called to say I love you. I just called to say how much I care. I just called to say I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. No summer's high, no warm July, no harvest moon to light one tender August night. No autumn breeze, no falling leaves, not even time for birds to fly to southern sky. No Libra sun, no Halloween, no giving thanks to all the Christmas joy you bring. But what it is, so oh so new, to fill your heart like no three words could ever do. I just called to say
from 32 yards. Writter made it, and the Bills open their final season in this stadium with a stunning comeback win.
It was nice to be a Buffalo Bills win last night, folks.
Yes, a shocker in Orchard Park last night. The Ravens up 15 with 7 minutes to go, and it brought back the memories of the Oilers game back in 1991 when Frank Wright was the quarterback. Because I heard that today. Somebody was talking about that on the Phillies talk shows up there. Yeah, so Bills win 41-40, and the Ravens and the fans here in Baltimore are stunned, trying to figure out what the heck happened. And people in Buffalo are still probably partying like it's 1991. Yeah.
Well, Chris, it's called, if you hear really carefully, I think they're still partying in Tallahassee too.
Yes. Speaking of Tallahassee, we'll have our good friend Jeff Culhane joining us shortly. Hopefully he'll be joining us in a couple minutes here. Florida State, if you just tuned in, if you were underneath a rock last weekend and didn't pay attention, they rolled over East Texas A&M 77-3. Our friend Johnny Mack wanted a shutout, but didn't get one.
I wanted a shutout too, Chris. So
let's bring Matt in. I think Matt's in audio form here. So, hey, Matt, what's going on, big guy?
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Wayne, how's it going?
Good.
not bad.
Good. So, if you just tuned in, folks, we were playing. That was Stevie Wonder, who had a #1 hit on this day in 1984 with that song, which I just called to say I love you. It was taken from the film Woman in Red, and it was 18 years after Stevie Wonder made a debut on the charts in 1966.
And Stevie Wonder was an incredible singer, and he was blind too.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, having
He was. What's
that was
on here? We had a wild weekend of college football, and and I know somebody. Before we bring in Jeff here, waiting for Jeff to log in here. I know somebody I think some people in Gainesville might want this guy fired. And so here's the final field goal from the game between South Florida and the Gators.
Dramatica for the win, and there it is. 18-16, the final score, and the Bulls explode off the bench.
All right, so South Florida pulls off the second biggest upset in many weeks, beating the Gators 18-16, or Danielle Kelly was telling it was called the Field Goal Bowl between both schools.
yeah.
So anyway, that was this weekend, and then Syracuse beat UConn on Saturday. And did you see after the game, UConn? I guess Syracuse didn't like the coach didn't like what the Orange were doing for the football team, so they were running sprints after the game.
Well, I guess you get them well prepared. I mean, our good friend Dan Couture was there on Saturday, and I thought Syracuse would have beat UConn handily, but what do I know?
Ewan just logged in. He goes, "You're killing me, Herbie. You're killing me."
Hi, Ewan. We need to get you on here sometime, Ewan.
Yes, you can come on anytime. So anyway, we're waiting for Jeff to join us shortly. We have a whole bunch of time waiting for him because I don't even know who's coming at 7:30 because we've been trying to get people on for 7:30 this week, and we'll wait until he gets here.
Well, so guys, so since we're waiting, what do you guys think of Florida State so far?
Well, it's 2-0, and it's we won more games than last year, so that's a good sign.
We've won as many games as we have last year. Last year's last year, and this year's this year. We're top 10 in the country, and if everything goes right, we could see an undefeated showdown in Doak Campbell Stadium in October when Miami comes calling. So, I guess you kind of know who I'm pulling for on Saturday between South Florida and Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Miami.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be and Chris and I are going to have a lot of fun on Saturday as he and I are traveling to College Park, Maryland, to see Towson take on another in-state opponent in the Maryland Terrapins and Coach Mike Loxley. So 8:15, we're going to have our good friend Coach Pete Shimmick on the phone to preview that in-state showdown. And Chris, you are going to feed me some crab cakes when I'm up there, right?
Yes, sir. Matt's also he's going Saturday up to Philadelphia to see Oklahoma and Temple. I just got the email today.
Oh, you are?
Yes, so he's all set for going up there to see the Temple Owls are 2-0, taking on the 13th ranked Oklahoma Sooners, who also are 2-0. So Coach Keeler will hopefully pull off a big they could pull off a big upset over Oklahoma. They could. Yeah. But SEC.
There is a possibility that can happen.
Right.
But the way that Oklahoma team played against Michigan, if Oklahoma plays with that intensity and that passion to win, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to have Mason Young from the Tulsa World on in a little while to review the game versus Michigan and preview the game versus Temple on Saturday. So that'll be a lot of fun. and also to end our show, we're going to have one of the world's best competitive eaters on our show. James Webb from Sydney, Australia is going to join us as he won the catfish eating contest at the Maryland State Fair. He's the number 4 ranked eater in the world according to the International Federation of Competitive Eating. And yes, there is such a ranking. I am dead serious.
I saw that. We got some other videos here waiting for on this date. Let's do our little on this date here. On this date in 1985, Pete Rose just tied Cobb. And so here is the clip from the live clip with Pete Rose tying Ty Cobb.
What an afternoon here at Wrigley Field. Breaking it.
Yeah.
The great Pete Rose tying Ty Cobb, and I think a couple weeks later, I think he got the record.
Yeah.
Against the Padres, because I remember my dad taping that game when I was a kid. And I said, "Here you go, watch it this morning," and I watched it. So that's.
I wonder who the announcers are going to be on for Peacock on Saturday when we're at Towson. I mean, they could have Phil Simms there.
They could have. I haven't got the game notes yet from Maryland yet, so hopefully they'll send it our way.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of cool, I mean, if we could, if Phil Simms was part of the broadcasting team, now that he covers college football for Peacock, it'd be kind of cool to meet a Super Bowl champion.
All right, so let's bring. So we got no Jeff Culhane. Okay, so with Adam, we got a special guest for you. This gentleman you probably know from the senior tour. Okay, so do you want to bring him in because we're waiting for Jeff and Jeff's not rolling in here.
Well, Chris, I don't even know who's here.
His first name's John.
Oh yeah, we have. Yeah,
I know he had something to do tonight, so it was one of those like I didn't even know what's going on. Yeah, so
Chris, I'll let you introduce him since.
All right, folks, let's bring in John Jankowicz to
the PBA 50 Player of the Year.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Hi, John.
Good. How are you?
Thanks for coming.
Fine.
How's rehab? How was your rehab tonight? Because I didn't know if you're.
Yeah, it was okay. Sometimes those first, they go through. I'm not really sure how long it's going to last more than anything. So they told me ahead of time it was going to be like 45 to 55 minute sessions, but that's before they do the whole do all the evaluation first. So I wasn't really sure how long it was going to last, but I just got here, so I'm trying to clear some food up here in the meantime. So
you're all good.
Well, appreciate you coming on because we were waiting for one of our guests who was still waiting in the. I don't know where he is, but we're glad to have you on. So talk about your season this year. You bowled really well, and you got the Player of the Year in the Senior League, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Pretty.
I think we're having audio issues here.
Internet issues.
There you go. Am I there?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
you're good,
Probably,
JJ. You're
probably the
good, JJ.
Wi-Fi and everything. Go ahead. Repeat it again. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, I mean, it was a pretty good season. I mean, didn't win as much as last year, but I mean, that's, when you get in those TV shows, I mean, it's, and anything can kind of happen, and I mean, I think I made 7 shows this year and, won twice, where last year I made 8 shows and won 5 times. But I mean, also we had 3 less tournaments this year too. So, I mean, from that aspect, I mean, I'd say it was pretty good, as a whole. And actually, I think, I cashed every event this season, which is something I didn't do the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, so from that aspect, I mean, it was really much better. Just didn't like have some, the forms were last 2 and 3 and whatnot. Wasn't very good. So, but overall,
yeah, we're having some audio issues here, so you may have to log. John, you want to log back in, because I think the Wi-Fi is having some issues. So log back in, log back out, and come back in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course, I had no idea we had JJ on here.
Yeah, well, it was originally I had him scheduled, and then and then all of a sudden everything was good. So let's see if he got back on. So.
Well, we had him, and
yeah, we had him gone. Yeah. So hold on a second here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show's going to be one of those shows that we're going to just duct tape the damn thing together, probably.
Well, I don't care. It's called. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it's called John Janowitz. Yeah.
Well, so Adam, who do you think is the best or the top 2 best teams in the country?
Well, to me right now, Ohio State, and then I think it's Ohio State, Penn State.
Okay. That's cool. All right, let's bring John back in here. See if hopefully he's better. All right, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, cool.
You had the robot thing going. You're like,
yeah. I mean, like I can also see like your screens. They all they went temporarily black, at certain spots too. So
okay.
Yeah, we'll call the internet. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam. If you have a question.
Yes, so the PBA 50 tour, it has a lot of cool events. But one thing that you guys didn't have this year, you guys didn't go back to Riviera Lanes for the Tournament of Champions. So, would you want to see the PBA 50 tour go back there next year when the schedule gets released soon?
I mean, I'd love to go back there. I mean, it was kind of a, the TFC has been kind of a strange tournament for me because I bowled it 3 times. I've won it twice. And the only time I didn't even cash last year at Riviera. So, I mean, I just had a rough time. Didn't see the picture the right way. But I mean, I will say, suburban lanes, and BVL, Pleasant Day Schools. I mean, they did a fantastic job in Morgantown hosting. I give them a lot of credit. That being said, Riviera is, that is the TFC, and it was really special being there last year because that's actually the first time I ever bowled there. I've been to the building before, but last year was actually the first time I ever bowled there. And like I said, it was tough for me. I had a rough time and just never really figured out what I needed to do to strike. And I think if I go back, if we do go back there at some point in time next year or down the road, I have a much better, clearer picture now of what I need to do. So, I would always welcome it to go back to Riviera by far.
And, just talk, when we think of Morgantown, West Virginia, we think it's home of the West Virginia Mountaineers, and the success that they've had as a football team. That is Morgantown, West Virginia becoming a hotbed for professional bowling since you guys have gone there a lot over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, we were there last year, and like I said, they got a great sponsor, Pleasant Day Schools. Like I said, they're fantastic. Great people there, and like I said, I mean, it's really I really enjoyed Morgantown. Last year was actually my first time there, and I really enjoyed the town. I mean, it's very beautiful. In the mountains and everything, and college town. So I mean, there's pretty good amount of restaurants in the bowling centers. It's really, really nice. There's a great Italian place that's in the same plaza with the bowling center called Stefano's, and the bowling center food is very, very good. So I mean, it checked all the right boxes for me for what makes for a good PBA event. So I mean, I would always be glad to go and hope we return to Morgantown, whether it be for the TFC or for a regular stop. I'd always love to go back there from here on out.
Cool.
So, John, what do you think about bowling changing its broadcast from the CW, from Fox to the CW, and all the other other networks helping out this year? It's pretty interesting that we don't have Fox anymore. Now we have the CW, and we have CBS Sports and all that stuff. And hopefully one day they'll do some senior tours, maybe on CBS Sports Network. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I mean that would be awesome for to be able to be on network TV for sure. And I'm hoping someday it will. And maybe we'll see how the CW sponsorship goes. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the break off between Fox and now coming into the CW, but I hope if anything that it ends up being a very good partnership from here on out, and maybe we'll include a little bit of senior tour play, because there definitely are some guys that can still bowl out here for sure, and definitely some of the legends of the game, and I know that will definitely appeal to some of the bowling market for sure.
Walter Ray
Walter.
Williams.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw. I don't know if you saw it, Sean, but Walter Ray Williams. There's video going around on Facebook that with Walter Ray Williams Jr. injury on his right hand, he's starting to learn how to bowl lefty, and I was like, who would have thought we would see that? So so just talk about bowling against living legends from when Chris and I were growing up. Today, like Walter Ray, Pete Weber, I know Parker Bone. What's that?
I mean, it's absolutely awesome. You watch these guys on TV for so many years, and now you can. Now you cross with them and then bowl against them on shows. And Walter Ray is definitely a pretty special one, because he moved back here many years. He moved to Florida many years ago from California. And one of the things I always admired about him, I thought was one of the coolest things, is that he just loves to bowl, and he'll bowl anything. I mean, like to see him come up to bowl some of these 5-game sweepers that pay like $500, that are local and whatnot. To see him come in the door, I think it's just absolutely awesome and cool to watch. And I mean, he's gone two-handed. He went to that like probably about 10 years ago, and he's had some 300 games doing that. I mean, he's just never afraid to to try different things to try to score. And I mean, he just loves bowling, and hasn't gotten burned out. And, I know the shoulder surgery, I know it's been tough for him to not, be able to participate on the tour this year, but I'm sure he'll come back strong. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that, he's, bowling left-handed, two-handed, as, a supplement in the meantime until, he can, get back bowling right-handed again.
Oh yeah. It's like, seeing it when I saw him trying to bowl left-handed, I was like, okay, what's going on? I mean, I
just think he loves bowling. I mean, I just wants to just keep staying active. I think that's awesome.
And he loves his horseshoes. He loves his horseshoes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Walter was here in Forest Hill years ago, and I was invited to a party, and he goes, "Hey, you want me to show you how to throw horseshoes?" I'm like, "Okay." So he showed me how he does it, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then he goes, "Well, you want to try?" And I completely missed the whole thing. I was like,
right,
yeah,
you you don't see too many people that have been, basically world champions in two different sports. That's probably the most unique things, which makes him, way more special and compared to even some of the other great bowlers.
Yeah, and he has the horseshoes in his back of his car. It was funny. It was like me with a bowling ball or a baseball bat. It was like a random like horseshoe match coming out. Like, hey, I'll bring this out, and he brings it out of his car. I'm like,
oh yeah. I remember there were a few senior stops where he'd ask him, what he's doing. Hey, he's driving, half hour or whatever, to go pitch horseshoes, after the squad or before the before his night squad or whatnot. So he still stays pretty active.
That's crazy. But he loves sports, and he loves the two sports he loves, and he does a great job. And like you said, he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's a Hall of Famer in both sports, probably.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by far. By far.
Yeah.
Adam, you have another question for him?
Yeah. So, John, is there a place that you would like to see the PBA 50 tour to go that you guys have not been to before?
I know the tour in the past has been to quite a few places. I'd love to see a stop in another stop maybe in California myself. I don't think the national tour has been there since I started in 2023. So I'd like to see a stop there, maybe tied in like with Vegas for the Senior Masters or whatnot. I think that would be a pretty good tie-in, and along with the senior U.S. Open, which has followed the Senior Masters year after year. Maybe having another stop or two in the West would be nice, or Oregon or Washington. Because I know the senior tour has been there in years past, but like I said, I know not in the last couple of years. So, but I'd love to see a spot maybe in L.A. or San Diego myself.
Now, for me, I would love it if you guys, were to come to Charlotte. I'm only if you guys were to come to Charlotte, I'm only a few hours away. When there is George Pappas, Liberty Lanes, in Gastonia.
Yep. The closest we went was last year. Actually, we went to Sandhills over right by Pinehurst.
Yes.
So yep.
It would be nice.
Yeah, that was an awesome stop too. Being just a mile away from Pinehurst, that was a cool place to visit.
Yeah,
that was also that was literally like a month or 5 weeks before the U.S. Open was held there. So, I went and ate at one of the restaurants there. It was right there by the 18th green, and they already had all the bleachers set up, and the boxes and the press boxes, everything were all set up. So it was really cool to be there at that stage too, with the timing and aspect.
Cool. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, John, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight, bud. Thank you very much for taking your time after your physical, your PT stuff. But I hope everything goes well, and we'll talk to you down the road. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man. We'll keep in touch.
All right, buddy. Talk to you.
Okay. Thank you. Yep.
All right, that's Catfish, who is the PBA.
That was a surprise. I had no idea you got him.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was coming. It was one of those things that, like, it was like, he was telling me he has physical therapy, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to rush the guy for physical therapy, so and it worked out lovely because we had I think Jeff had a problem or something, or I don't have no idea, but we'll get Jeff on. We can't get him on next Monday because he does the coaches show with Mike Norvell.
He does. That's right. Yeah.
So we'll get him on. I think the next bye week is for them. It's like sometime in November.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if we move our show to a Tuesday night or something, or because of ball or something, we'll see what we can do. Let me get ready to call Howard Stevens, who is a former Colt, 1975 Colt. We had one of his teammates on last week because this week they're doing a special thing down at Union Brewery down here, craft brewery down in the city for the 75 Colts, and the Ravens are honoring them in the Ring of Honor thing on Sunday against Joe Flacco and the Browns.
So the Ravens are favored by I think it's 11.5.
Yeah, something like that. But hey, that's why they play the games, so
like last night.
Yeah, just like last night. They're a big guy. So before I let me call Howard, let me play. We lost a great manager over the weekend and a great ball player, Davey Johnson, who was one of the catalysts for the Orioles back in the late 60s, early 70s. Hit 44 home runs with the Atlanta Braves after he got traded from the Orioles Braves, and then became a skipper for the amazing Mets in 1986 and turned that whole entire franchise around. You know, and still goes down in history as one of the great teams in baseball history, besides the 2001 Mariners and the 98 Yankees. Matt? Yeah, I think the 98 Yankees and the 86 Mets should play in like one of those virtual games because they both had powerful lineups.
Oh yeah, they did, especially the '98 Yankees. So yeah, '98, '99, 2000. If you exclude when Luis Gonzalez had that little blooper over Derek Jeter's head because he was playing in, yeah, I mean that was the dynasty back then.
Yeah. So here is the Major League Baseball had a tribute for him on Saturday. So here is the video.
When Johnson hit a 3-run home run, Baltimore had its second 7-run explosion at the expense of the Twins.
Davy Johnson, the starting second baseman for the dynastic Orioles clubs from the late 1960s and early 70s, and who later managed the 1986 Mets to a World Series title, has passed away. Johnson was impactful from the start as a 23-year-old defensive-minded second baseman for the Orioles in 1966. He appeared in 131 games and finished third in the AL Rookie of the Year voting as Baltimore won the pennant. He'd collected 4 hits in the Orioles' 4-game sweep of the Dodgers in the Fall Classic.
Blair is there. He takes it, and the Orioles are the new world champions.
In Johnson's first 6 seasons as an everyday player, the Orioles averaged 97 wins per season, won 4 pennants, and 2 World Series titles. In that stretch, Johnson would win 3 Gold Glove awards and be named to 3 All-Star teams. But after an injury-riddled 1972 campaign, the Orioles dealt Johnson to the Braves in a 6-player deal. Of the trade, Johnson would later say, "It was the greatest thing that ever happened to me in baseball, and the big reason was joining Aaron," as in Henry Aaron. Though Aaron refused any credit, Johnson would put together an historic offensive season at second base, swatting 43 homers, setting a then single-season record for homers at the position. He joined with Darrell Evans and Aaron as the first trio of teammates ever to hit 40 home runs in a season.
Davy Johnson, who played for 4 major league clubs, teamed with Henry Aaron in Atlanta in 1973 and 74, and with Sadaharu in Tokyo in 75 and 76. Johnson then returned to the majors in 77 and is now managing the New York Mets AA Farm Club in Jackson, Mississippi.
Johnson would manage 3 seasons in the minor leagues, winning a league championship in each of his 3 stops. After managing the Mets AAA affiliate, the Tidewater, in 1983, Johnson was tabbed by Frank Cashin as the Mets' new skipper ahead of the 1984 season.
Started in '84, you know, we had a pretty good ball club. We were young, some young pitchers, but we had a bunch of holes offensively and a little bit defensively. '85 came, we got a little bit better, made a few off-season moves, and you know, we went from 90 games to 98 wins, and I knew we had all the pieces. And all I did was tell the guy in spring what I knew. We were just going to dominate, and no doubt about it.
It all came together in 1986 as the Amazons triumphed in an epic playoff run, culminating in the Fall Classic.
You know, it's never over till it's over. I think somebody said that. And this is what it's all about. This is what it's all worth sweating for.
Johnson would continue to find success as a big league manager, but was never able again to recapture the magic of '86. In the 1988 NLCS, the heavily favored Mets fell to the upstart Dodgers in a 7-game series. He would later manage the Reds, Orioles, Dodgers, and Nationals, finding regular season success followed by postseason disappointment.
Going back to the track, to the wall. And what happens here? He contends that a fan reaches up and touches it. Here comes Davy Johnson out to argue as Jeter comes across to tie the game.
Billy Martin, Dusty Baker, and Buck Showalter are the only skippers besides Johnson to manage 4 different clubs to the playoffs. Johnson was twice named Manager of the Year, in 1997 while skippering the Orioles, and 15 years later in 2012 with the Nationals. His .562 winning percentage is top 10 all-time among managers with at least 1,000 career victories. The baseball world mourns the passing of Davey Johnson.
It's sad. Something. It's pretty sad. I thought he would have won a Manager of the Year award with the '86 Mets.
He didn't.
Yeah, he didn't. Why not? That team won 108 games. They blew everybody out. They were up 18 games in the middle of August on first place, on second place Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he should have won the MVP. Not the MVP, the Manager of the Year.
Well, who won the Manager of the Year that year?
I don't know. I got to write it down. I'll check in a few minutes. But let's bring in our next guest. It's a special thing going on this week here in Baltimore. The Colts of 1975 are being honored down at the Union Craft Brewery off of 41st Street here in beautiful Baltimore. And let's bring in one of the players who was part of that 75 team. Howard Stevens is live on the telephone. So, Howard, thanks so much for joining us tonight, and welcome to the program. So, what have you been up to lately there, big guy?
What'd you say? I've been a little tough to hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So just talk about this whole exciting thing coming on this weekend for you guys. You're going to be all the players from the 75 Colts are going to be honored with the Ravens on Sunday, but they're going to have something special Saturday down in the city and on the 41st Street at Union Craft Brewery. So talk about that real quick.
Yeah, we're it was quite a happening 50 years ago. I had just been traded from the New Orleans Saints, and we didn't win very much, and I got traded to a team that I thought could win, and we promptly went 1-4, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go again. But Coach Marchibroda came into the locker room and said, hey, let's just win next week. And he did that 9 times in a row, and we won 9 games in a row and went to the playoffs. And so a bunch of us are going to just get together and honor that day.
Nice. So, yeah, you guys the year before that was 2-14. So,
yep.
So you're getting traded from New Orleans, who basically they started up in 1966 or something like that, or 68 or something like that, and they haven't won any playoff games until they get to the 90s. So you were
exactly.
So you were a team down in New Orleans and you had Archie Manning as your quarterback, and So what was it like getting traded to the city of Baltimore and going to be like, okay, I just left New Orleans, it's a party city, now I'm here in Baltimore. What is Baltimore?
Well, I wasn't much of a party guy. My wife and I were from a small town in Virginia, Harrisonburg, Virginia. So New Orleans being a party town was no big deal. The big deal was being able to play in the NFL, and my gateway was New Orleans. They needed to look at every player they drafted, so they gave me a chance. And I had a really good game against the Baltimore Colts at preseason, and the Colts traded for me, and I came to town. And, again, everywhere you go, you're looking to win. And, we won the first game against Chicago, and then we lose 4 in a row. And I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, here we go again. But we turned it around. We had a bunch of great guys on that team.
Yeah. I was just looking at the I got to say, my parents were actually, we have a place down in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Massanutten. Yeah, Massanutten, right in McCackey'sville. And I've been down to Harrisonburg a lot of times, and I love that town. It's really quiet. I love it.
It's a nice little town. It's a town I grew up in. Left when I went away to college, and we go back there every once in a while. In fact, my high school basketball team at the end of the month is getting put in the High School Hall of Fame, so I'll be back in Harrisonburg, my wife and I, for that.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, so what's it like growing up in that town? Because I've been there for skiing, and I've been there for JMU. JMU is the I call it the Disney World of '81. Because I was driving down there picking up a car years ago when I used to work at, and I had to go down and pick up a car. And I was driving up 81, and I'm like, okay, I know where I am. And also, I see James Madison with all the buildings they build and all that stuff. I'm like, okay. I call it the Disney World of '81 because it's like, you can see it. But my dad used to play. This is funny. My dad used to play at Lynchburg College back in the '70s.
Oh, yeah.
And he had baseball. He played for the baseball team and the softball team. They took on a little college called Madison College.
Exactly. It was all girls college.
Yeah, and my dad was like
maybe 200 guys.
Yeah, so my dad was like, it was like the middle of a cornfield. That was what he was telling me. It was like the middle of nowhere, and here's a little college right here. I was like, wow. But it's great that they built that whole thing up. And you being a longtime resident, what do you think about that now? It's like,
it has changed the burg. Harrisonburg used to be this sleepy little town where you could walk everywhere, and with the growth of the college, you cannot recognize Harrisonburg as it was versus when I grew up. It's just burgeoned all over the joint, and James Madison is the straw that stirs the drink, I'm telling you.
Exactly. Adam, you have a question for him?
Yeah. So Howard, talk about your college football days when you played at Louisville University.
Yeah, I played at Louisville for Lee Corso.
Oh, cool.
And I had a wonderful career because I played on a really marvelous football team, Coach Corso, and I followed Coach T.W. Alley from Randolph-Macon. I transferred to Louisville to go down and play Division I football because when I left high school, the only college that thought I could play football was the Division III Randolph-Macon. So I went there and was able to transfer, and it was a wonderful time. We were 6-3-1 my first year and 9-1 my second year, and we had Tom Jackson on that team. We had 7-8 guys play pro football off of that team, so it was a joy and a treat to play with those guys.
Nice. Yeah, you got your jersey retired there in 1972. That must have been pretty cool. Getting.
It is. It's a wonderful thing. It's recognition, but when running backs and wide receivers, when they get accolades, it's because everybody else is doing a good job and they're behind the scenes. So my getting my jersey retired, I can thank a whole lot of people for that happening.
Yeah. What was like playing for Lee Corso? Because we see him on TV and with the headgear and not so fast, big guy, not so fast. Yeah. What was it like him as a coach?
He was a very good coach, very sound. We were a very good football team fundamentally, both offense, defense, special teams. He was a funny guy, but he was serious when it came to playing football. And we won a lot of football games at Louisville, especially my senior year in 1972. We were 9-1, considered for a bowl game, but West Virginia beat us out.
Oh, back in the day when not a lot of other people go to a bowl game. Now everybody goes to a bowl game now.
Well, there were I don't know, maybe 15 bowl games in 10. I don't know how many there were, but it was a treat to go to a bowl game, and we just didn't quite make the grade because we got beat by Tulsa 31-30, and Drew Pearson, who used to be a star for Dallas, played for Tulsa. He scored the winning touchdown late in the game to beat us 31-30 and knock us out of a bowl game.
Jeez, that's crazy. So let's talk about 1975. So you get traded, after the preseason to Baltimore, and you're like, okay, we're playing for a team that was 2-14. You win the first game against the Bears, and then you lose 4 in a row, and you're like, well, I'm used to losing because New Orleans, you guys weren't that great anyway. So you're like, this is normal. And then also,
first off, I'm never used to losing.
Right.
Don't use that. I was losing, but I wasn't used to it.
Right. You're used to winning in college, and you're like, what is this garbage? Like come on now. Yeah. But anyway, so then you guys win 10 straight in a row, and then you finally make it and then you get to the playoffs. And then I think did you make it all the way? I think you guys made it to the AAC title game, right?
No, we lost in the first round to Pittsburgh up there, and then the second year we lost to Pittsburgh down here. That's when the plane crashed into the stadium.
Oh.
But in '75, we had a really good football team, and I think we had a chance to go farther if we could have just gotten past Pittsburgh up there in their stadium. And there was a fumble late in the game that ended up not being a fumble, but it was treated as a fumble, and I think Pittsburgh beat us 13-10, and we were deep in their territory, and we possibly could have won that game had they had instant replay at the time.
Yeah, well, that didn't come until like what, the 90s or late 80s? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, something like that. I'm 100 years old.
Oh, but you're still young at heart, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about this whole thing on Saturday. Bert Jones is going to be there. All your former teammates. Some of them are going to be there. We had your one of your teammates on Jim last week, but he's not going to be making it because he has a lot of health issues. Your buddy. So just talk about this whole this weekend coming up. Are you excited that you're going to go to the Ravens on Sunday and have everybody basically say thank you for being a good team in '75?
Well, I think it's more than that. I think when you are on a team that wins, you create some bonds. And, this is a group of guys who did something that nobody really thought we could do, go to the playoffs after being 1-4, in week 5. So it's an opportunity to see some guys that you bonded with and some guys that you went through some really serious games to win, and then to beat New England in the last game of the season to go to the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to seeing some guys. Maybe the last time we get an opportunity to see each other. It's going to be a fun celebration, and it's just to maybe let some of the older fans in Baltimore enjoy that special time when we were able to accomplish that in '75.
Nice. Matt, do you have a question for Howard, or do you want to ask him a question?
Yeah. So, since you played for Corso and everything, what did Corso mean to the game of college football?
Well, I think he meant. Actually, I think he's meant more to the college football since he's been on game day than he did as a coach. Although he was a very good coach at both Louisville and Indiana. He's just a good human being, and actually had the opportunity about 4 or 5 days ago. I called him up and congratulated him on his career that he had and how well he did, and the fact that he picked the 6 games right. As he was leaving the set, he got them all 6 right. But Coach Corso was just a good human being, and he taught us that winning was what it was all about. It wasn't about individual accolades. It didn't matter who scored the touchdowns. It was about a team, and we won as a team, and if we happened to lose, we'd lose as a team as well.
That's true. And he actually was a great coach, and it's funny that I think they should have done his last college game day at Florida State. I'm sorry, Ohio State, that's not his home territory. Yeah.
I know. I thought he was going to be at Florida State, and if it was going to be down at Florida State, I was going to go to the game. But and I wasn't going to Ohio.
Right. Exactly. Forget the Buckeyes. No offense. Adam, you have the final question for him. Go ahead.
Sure.
Buddy.
So Howard, what's your overall take on the NFL now compared to when you played for the Saints and then the Baltimore Colts?
I watch the NFL now, and I don't really have a particular rooting interest. The thing that I see about football today is that the athletes are bigger, stronger, and faster, but I don't believe that they're as fundamentally sound as we were when it comes to tackling, catching, and doing all the fundamentals of the game. I think they rely a great deal more on their athletic ability than they do on the fundamentals. And I think if, the teams that you look at that are fundamentally sound, those are the ones that are head and shoulders above the other teams. It's just the athletes that play today are just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And It's fun to watch. I like to see a good game, and really don't care who wins, but I like to see the players perform well.
That's true. Well, Howard, I hope you have a great weekend coming up here. Adam and I are actually going down to College Park, watch Maryland take on Towson, but we will love to get you on another time. And I wish I had time to see you guys this weekend, but we can't fit it in our schedule. It's one of those things,
In two places at one time.
I know. I can't use the
yeah.
like teleport myself to different places. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, we can't clone ourselves, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, folks, if you want to get more information, here is the little banner I found online. So just go to the Babe Ruth Birthplace Museum, and you could actually get your tickets. Tickets are $125. Table, get a whole table is like $1,000 pretty much. So, but it's all the food you could eat from 3 to 6 on September 13th. So, Howard, thanks so much for coming on tonight, and enjoy your weekend. Okay.
It is my pleasure, and thank you so much for taking the time to invite me to be a part of your show.
All right, man. Have a great week.
I will. Thank
All
you.
right,
Take care.
All right, see you. Bye.
Chris, I wish we could go to two places.
I wish I could. There's a lot of things I'd like to do.
Well, since I'm gonna be up there. I mean, oh well.
Exactly. Update: there is a battle up in Philadelphia this week between the Mets and Phillies. It's actually now in the top of the fifth. Mets have a runner at first base with 2 outs, down 1-0. So, but it is rivalry week, and before we, I don't think Wally's gonna. We'll try to get Wally back on another time, but it's been a little hectic this week with people's schedules and all that stuff, but. I do have to bring back a flashback to a time where the Mets and Phils, they have a heated rivalry. So.
Oh, do they ever?
So here is a classic clip from 1986.
Game is over, and it may be out of here. A grand slam home run. Tim Teufel in the bottom of the 11th, and the Mets win it 8-4. Things we discussed that were possibilities, that one never came to mind. The Mets put the home run power on as Gary Carter hits 2. Tim Teufel hits the biggest one of the night, a grand slam in the bottom of the 11th to break a 4-4 tie.
I'll tell you, instead of employing a 5-man infield, John Felski should have employed a 7-man outfield and given a couple of them tickets. That would have been the only way to feel that one. Tom Hume had to come in there. Teufel knew it, and he uncorks one, and you talk about getting all of it. Home run number 2 for Tim Teufel, and there was no doubt about it. Renicky, no chance to get it. Holy cow, what an ending to this game.
That's incredible.
Good old Tim McCarver on the call.
Yeah.
Yeah. We missed Tim McCarver. He passed away. So.
Oh yeah, Chris, it's called regarding the NL Manager of the Year in 1986.
Yeah.
It went to Hal Lanier of the Houston Astros.
I did. It's like, why did he get it?
I don't know. I mean, the top 5 were Hal Lanier was first, Davey Johnson was second, Roger Craig of the Giants was third, John Felski of the Phillies was fourth, and Jim Leyland of the Pittsburgh Pirates was fifth. In the over in the American League, it was John McNamara for the Red Sox, then Bobby Valentine of the Rangers, Gene Mauch of the California Angels was third, Pat Corrales of the Cleveland Indians was fourth, and Lou Piniella of the Yankees finished fifth.
I love it. I love you're enthusiastic. The Cleveland Indians.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, not the Guardians.
No. Yeah, it's because I had to do it properly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. Properly. Yeah. Speaking of, did you see what happened Saturday night in Baltimore?
It's called there was a no-hitter I saw there was a no-hitter broken up.
Yeah. So let's play the last 3 minutes of this. The Dodgers at the time were up, it was like 3-0. And no hitter for the pitcher, the Japanese pitcher they have. And he's 8 2/3, and this happened.
Velocity still there for Yamamoto. That was at 98. In the air, right field, hit deep, back at the wall. Pages turns and watches it go. Jackson Holiday breaks up the no-hitter with a 2-out solo home run. Dave Roberts gave every bit of the leash to Yoshinobu Yamamoto. 112 pitches. He fell 2 strikes and 1 out short of a no-hitter. But still, everybody, and I mean everybody, at Oriole Park at Camden Yards on their feet.
They came here tonight to celebrate history, and he was so close to making history. Where is the last out?
Ball 4, bases loaded. Another walk and another run for Baltimore. Tying run to third, the bases still loaded.
The Dodgers are going to go deep into October and go back-to-back world champions. The people Dave Roberts are bringing in have to get it right for October.
Line drive, base hit center field. 1 run is in, the winning run coming home. And the Orioles walk off the Dodgers in back-to-back nights. No hit through 8. Walk-off winners in the 9th. The Dodgers lose their 5th in a row. And all I can think of, Oral, is not like...
That's our good friend Tim Nebrin on the call.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, you want to know something?
Yeah.
It's September 8th, and we have not had a no-hitter yet this year in Major League Baseball.
Right. And they said that's the first time in a long time. Yeah, I think I saw it last week. It was something like back in the 70s or something, but yeah.
Yeah, that was the law. It's called. Oh, yeah. Saturday was the 30th anniversary of when Cal Ripken Jr. broke the consecutive game streak. And I know they honored him, and Cal rode out in a nice car. And I was like, I remember when he originally did it. You know, it's like,
yeah,
it was nice to see he came back and, you know.
Yeah, I had a privilege years ago. He was his son Ryan, who's now a broadcaster. We had him on.
Yeah, we know Ryan. He's come on our show.
Yeah, and he was playing at Frederick at the time, and now he's back in the Orioles minor league system. And basically, I was like, and one night I was in the press box, and guess who comes in? Cal.
And it's just cool to talk.
And it's just me and Cal in the press box.
That was nice.
And, I didn't have a microphone. I just heard, it was great to talk shop with him and talk about baseball.
Oh, yeah.
And his stories. And there's one story I've been telling people last week. He was telling me about umpires. I said to Cal, like, did you like umpires? Do you have a favorite one? He goes, oh, I hated them.
Oh.
And I said, which one was your least favorite? He goes, well, the guy named Darrell Merrill was a umpire. And one time he was in Baltimore, and Cal gets struck out by this guy who was not even not even a Hall of Famer. And Cal turns around and looks at Darrell and goes, what is that? He goes, and Darrell goes, Cal, that was a Hall of Fame pitch right there, son. That was a Hall of Fame pitch right there, buddy. And Cal goes, I'm going to the Hall of Fame. He's not. So what was that? Yeah. So let me let's see. We got something else we could play. I'm going to call Coach Shimmick here in a minute. Everything's on,
Yeah, it's called. Got the Towson Tigers on a 2-game winning streak.
Yes, they are. And they so let me call them, and we'll have a speak. What do we have here? I got something I can put in. Hold on here. I gotta have something here. I'm trying to get things done on the fly here. Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's play what Florida State beat East Texas A&M, and I think you probably saw this on our program on Saturday. Let me put this in the queue here so we get ourselves the post game thing that Mike Novell did for the father of the player Pritchard, who got brutally shot in the head on his way home from his his aunt's house. Yeah. So let me play this real quick before let me get Coach Shimmick on the phone. So here it is.
Ethan's dad came to spend the day with us. He told me the other day, he goes, this is where his boy wants to be. We got it done for him. All right? I want you to take that to him. A lot of great performances today. But if you guys are good,
Okay, let me get him on here. Hold on, folks. All right, let's just play. I gotta find something to play real quick, so it'll be. Hold on a second. I thought that was quicker for us here. Hold on here. I got something I could probably put in. Oh, let's play. What's this? You talked to Tommy Castellano this year, right?
I did.
Yeah, so let's just play that real quick. Let me put this in because I'm trying to get Coach Shimmick on, and I don't want to, we need some audio here. So hold on a second.
I enjoyed talking to Tommy when I was at the AC kickoff back in July.
Yeah. Hold on. Come on. It's like figuring out what it's doing. All right, here it is, and let me call Coach.
Talk about facing Alabama week 1 in starting your last year as a Florida State Seminoles quarterback.
I'm excited for the matchup. It's a big stage, a big opportunity for me and my teammates to go out there and perform. I'm excited. I'm ready to just put the ball down and go play. It's going to be a good game. We're ready to go out there and compete and just go out there and play football.
Just talk and also talk about reuniting with Gus Malzahn as your offensive coordinator?
I'm excited. I'm very happy to be back coaching with Malzahn. We have a great relationship. And since we've been back together, it's been everything that I thought it would be. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful that I chose to come here.
Thank you.
All right. That was Tony Castanos talking to Adam at the ACC kickoff. This week, this Saturday, we got the Battle of the Free State, or AKA.
Yeah, and I can't wait to be in College
Or
Park.
the Battle of Maryland. That's what I call it.
Yeah, Chris, this will be my first game other than the ACC football championship game to cover with you. So it'll be a lot of fun going to College Park.
Yeah. So let me see here. Let me bring this up here. I wrote something here. Where is it? So anyway, Towson is going down to Maryland for the again to play the Terps. Both teams are 2-0, and they are going to be having a clash of the Titans, on Saturday at 12 noon on the Peacock Network. So I'm trying to find what I wrote. I wrote something here.
I don't know.
We'll find it here in a minute here. Anyway, so let's bring in the head coach of Towson football, Coach Pete Shimmick, joining us on the phone. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Doing really well. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem. Big week for Towson and the state of Maryland. You're going down to the chapter school of the state, Maryland, down there in College Park, taking on the Terps. Both teams are 2-0. This is pretty better from the last time you went down there when it was the first game of the year. So this is the third game of the year for you, live on the Peacock Network. So just talk about this game coming up for Towson and the state of Maryland.
Yeah, I think, again, great opportunity for us. Obviously, them being the Big Ten. I will note, though, that Towson is voted the #1 public institution in the state of Maryland. So we've got that on College Park. But, from a football standpoint, this is a lot of the guys on both rosters have played high school ball against each other. They know each other. For us, 2 weeks in a row, the Morgan game and now this one, really a lot of Maryland and DMV connections.
Yeah, so if you pull off this win, I guess you get the trifecta or something like that, right? You beat Morgan and Towson. So who else you got to beat? Coppin doesn't have.
Yeah, I think we beat state champs at that point in time.
I think you should get a flag. I know
pull that one off.
Yeah, I know you should get a flag. I know the folks. I know you're from the state of Florida and you're from the west side of West Florida University, but you know about Florida State, Miami, and the state of Florida. They have the state flag. Like if they win, they get the state banner. I think Towson. I think Towson should have one if they beat Maryland on Saturday. Just put it up there.
Yeah.
Put it up there.
I'll tell you, a lot of respect for Coach Loxley. The guys he's brought in, he's got a very talented group. A lot of young freshmen that are very gifted. So he's got a dynamic football team. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is a whole different time. The last time you were there, it was your first game at Towson, and you're like, "Hey, we're going down to Maryland." Okay, you're like, "Let's go." And you only scored 6 points, against the Terps, and at that time. But a lot of things have changed since that first game. What has changed for you as a coach since that first game?
Well, yeah, I think just a complete, understanding of everything that's taken place. Your first game, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, there's always just kind of like, all right, how are we doing this? What's it look like? That kind of thing. 2 years into the program, majority of the players on the roster have a great understanding of what we're asking, what we're trying to do, and just makes life a whole lot easier. So we go down there, feeling good about where we're at and excited about this opportunity.
Yeah, so you pulled off a big win against Morgan on last Saturday. You guys were trailing late, and then you guys pulled it off in the last second. These games you didn't win last year, right? The last minutes and all that stuff. And this year it seems like you guys know how to finish games and pull it out at the end.
Yeah, really exciting to see that. Obviously, like you mentioned, last year we had a couple of opportunities late in games. But, I mean, just our guys confident in their ability, what they're doing. I think one of the more exciting things about, the Morgan game was we really answered the call every time. They kicked a field goal. We returned a touchdown on a kickoff. We intercept the ball for a touchdown to go up. And then they kick a field goal and score a touchdown, and we score right before half to get the lead. We've got the lead. We're driving. We turn the ball over. They go score to take the lead with 4 minutes to go, and then we drive down, take 4 minutes off the clock, leave 25 seconds, and take the lead. So our guys just found ways to answer the call. That was exciting.
Yeah. Well, it's also exciting. I was at work at my other job on Saturday morning watching College Game Day, and I saw something on College Game Day. They were talking about Towson and Morgan on game day.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty
that
cool.
Graphic.
Yeah.
One of my a guy who's now at Oklahoma. He's a photographer. He sent me that graphic, and it was fun to see that.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Talk about Towson and Morgan on week 2 of college football on College Game Day, and hopefully they'll talk more about Towson and Maryland on Saturday as well.
Yeah, we need to get some publicity for that game. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But obviously, go down there on the big stage, 12 o'clock kickoff. Great weather. We're excited about this opportunity.
Yeah. Adam, I know Adam's excited, so go ahead.
Yeah, buddy. Because it'll be really cool to to finally see you and talk with you and just talk about facing another in-state opponent on Saturday in the Maryland Terrapins and also talk about facing an FBS program. What's it like for you as a coach to face an FBS program each year in Maryland?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's part of the FCS experience and, part of, having this type of job is knowing that every year you're going to have an FBS opponent. And, every time you turn on the film to get ready for someone like this, you're like, ooh, wow. All right, this group is really good. This group is really talented. And, watching Maryland, got a chance to watch them Friday night after we got done with our stuff. Very impressed with what we've seen. We know that we're going to have to be dialed in. We know that we're going to have to be in a great spot. And so, it's challenging and it's exciting. And you sit there and go, all right, what do we got to do to make this work?
Yeah. And let's talk about Maryland. They have Washington as quarterback, a freshman quarterback, who basically was highly recruited by Loxley, who has 2 games under his belt against Northern Illinois and Florida Atlantic. So, what did you see on film on a Monday that you might have to say? And it's like, hey, you may want to do something to distract this kid.
Yeah, I mean, he can make every throw, and he's got a very, very live arm. Pep Hamilton, their OC, they're throwing the ball very well, trying to spread it out a ton. And I mean, he really can get it anywhere on the field. I mean, he's on the left hash, throwing to the right sideline, a deep 20-yard out route. So you got a lot of respect for what he does with the ball. Got to be able to find a way, if possible, to disrupt him a little bit. But I mean, he's impressive, and there's a reason he was as highly recruited as he was.
Right, exactly. Matt, you have a question for Coach?
Yeah, Coach. So, what are you guys doing differently this year than last year to have the success that you're experiencing right now?
Yeah, I think we're just more of a complete team, and I think we play really good team football, complementary football, and I think you look at our 2 games, we've turned the ball over twice. So one each game. We are punting the ball really well. I think a punter is averaging 46 yards a punt. Our kickoffs are very, very good. We got a really good kicker as well, made a 50-yarder in week 1. So really all phases of what we're doing are complementing each other and doing a good job. You know, we're +1 for the year in turnovers. So our defense is forced 3. Again, we've given up 2. So we talk about winning the field position battle, winning the turnover battle, doing everything we can to make our lives a little easier on both sides of the ball. So really like how we're playing and what we're doing.
Yeah, I think, and plus you have a freshman quarterback. You know, like Maryland has a freshman quarterback. You have one too, and I think he's doing a great job under center.
Yeah, he is. And Andrew is playing very well. I mean, if you watched him play, I don't think you'd know he's a freshman. He makes really good decisions. He's got 4 touchdowns, about 360 yards passing in 2 games. Really has a good control for what we're doing. And, I think he's due for a pretty good breakout opportunity.
Yeah. Adam, you have another question for him?
Sure. So, if you guys were to beat Maryland on Saturday, how cool would it be to beat a FBS program and basically be the Kings of Maryland?
Yeah, that would be a great deal. We'd love that. Be fired up for our guys. I'm really excited for Towson. I think great opportunity for Towson to get, some tremendous publicity. As you mentioned, being on game day with the game day graphic there, showing us playing Morgan last week. That's exciting. You beat a Maryland and really, kind of everything explodes for you. So we'd embrace it. We'd love it. We're going to go down there and, give it everything we got.
Yeah. And you basically have nothing to lose. You have your whole CAA season ahead of you. You have your home opener next week, next Saturday against Youngstown State. So if you could go 3-0, that'd be great for the crowd at Maryland, at Towson for the home opener. And then you get the CAA play, and CAA is basically wide open this year, pretty much.
No, it really is. A lot of teams playing well. Bryant beat UMass last weekend, which is a huge upset. Rhode Island, Villanova, New Hampshire, all ranked and doing well. So we think we're right up in there, and when we want to go take care of business this weekend and see what can happen for us.
Well, Adam and I are excited to go see the game on Saturday, and hopefully we'll see a Towson big upset win, and we'll talk to you after the game. And I hope you guys have a great practice, great preparation this week, and just keep it going. It's one of those one game at a time. That's why I tell Adam every day, one game at a time. That's all.
I love it. Well, hey, look forward to seeing you after the game. Appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, man. Have a great week of practice. We'll see you Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see you Saturday.
I see you. Bye.
Chris,
Yes.
if I could fly now, I'd fly up to Maryland and be like, I want to get, to College Park and see this game. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Actually.
Here's the graphic I saw on College Game Day. So let me pull it up.
I was like, yeah, dudes.
Writter,
Towson and Morgan State clash in the battle for.
Yeah, I was at my other job, and we had the TV on, and I saw that, and I had to do a double take going, are you serious? I'm like, is that? I thought there was more. I guess week 2 wasn't that great going on or something.
Well, it's nice that after the win versus Norfolk State on national television, Townsend's getting national headlines. I think
it's great.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Before we bring in Andrew Jones, I want to say I want your guys' opinion. We'll talk about this later after we're talking to him. We might have some time. You probably saw this last night, Adam. We had a thing at the game between the Ravens and
I did.
Bills. So here it is real quick, Matt, if you didn't see it. Yeah. So Lamar Jackson was basically Derrick Henry scores a touchdown. And I guess the fans at Buffalo were on top. There's one thing they're going to miss. They're going to miss people on top of the players. And I guess one of the players hit Derrick Henry and then also hit Lamar Jackson at the same time. And I think Lamar got really upset about it and shoved the fan back. I had a polling question on Twitter. Should he get fined for that? He was protecting his player.
Yeah.
But
well, the fan
you don't want to go up in the stands with the players who are in the stands like Ron Otest. You shouldn't do that anyway.
No. Yeah. Well, that fan,
that fan should have been ejected out of the game.
Yeah. Well, that fan is banned from all NFL stadiums.
Oh wow. Anyway, well, this guy. He's down in North Carolina. He's a big Orioles fan, but he does cover North Carolina football. And Bill Belichick got his first win on Saturday against Charlotte after a rain delay, and and wasn't pretty, but he still got a win.
A win is a win is a win is a win is a win, and Andrew can attest to that.
Hi, Andrew.
Congrats to Bill Belichick.
I'm sure that the game ball will be right in the middle of between those 6 Super Bowl balls.
So talk about the first 2 games of Bill Belichick's tenure at North Carolina. The first game is Labor Day night. Everybody's giving it all hype. We were at the ACC kickoff, and everybody it looked like it was like Taylor Swift going down to the where all the media people were. Like there was like the entourage of Bill Belichick. I was in the restroom, and he was coming out. I was like, "Hey, Bill, how you doing?" It was like,
that's true.
Yeah. But and then the game against TCU, the opening drive, scored a touchdown, and all of a sudden the wheels on the bus fell off, pretty much. So is Bill having a hard time adjusting to college, or is it one of those things like he's trying to use what he learned in the NFL going backwards?
Yeah, I think we don't really know the answer yet.
Okay.
Because we're still trying to figure out if this roster has any talent. They got in late. He was introduced on December 14th, I think it was. That's 2 weeks into the portal. And a lot of dudes were gone. And he had to try to figure out who on his roster he wanted to recruit and keep. And they shoved quite a few guys out with limited information and took a lot of guys. As I was told, they were taking players, throwing them against the wall and see who sticks. And there were a lot of guys they took that weren't highly sought after, but I think that one of the things his staff is going to learn, and I say staff because they all kind of take their cue from Bill, and also Michael Lombardi, the general manager, who's been in the NFL and in a lot of ways is probably more the curator of the culture than Bill is in a lot of ways, that there is a supreme level of confidence that they can coach them up. And I think what they're finding is coaching them up is a lot different when they're 18, 19, and 20 and not very good, as opposed to the worst player in the NFL is really damn good and was very fundamentally sound when he got out of college. You can't be really good in football without being fundamentally sound. Otherwise, you get hurt and no one ever sees you play. So there's a lot of realities that maybe they didn't fully know that they're experiencing. And it's really fascinating to watch them evaluate almost in like preseason game mode in real games. Against TCU, they had 9 different defensive backs that played in the first 5 series. The other night against Charlotte, they played a different run. They played first 2 plays of the game. They played 2 different running backs, threw to them both, and they played 5 running backs in the first 5 series. The 5th one, a kid whose number was wrong on the flip card. And he looked like the best running back. I don't think they have a clue who their best running back is. I don't think outside of Jordan Shipp, they have a clue what they have in the wide receiver room. They're not throwing to the tight ends. They had a 4th and 1 against Charlotte in their 3rd possession. They're up 10-0, 4th and 1 at the 41, and he threw a 30-yard pass when North Carolina should just line up and run right at him, tell them where the ball's going, get a first down, keep the drive going, go up 17-0, put foot on throat. They didn't do that. They kind of played with their food a lot in that game. And in the second half, they had 59 yards of total offense.
Right.
So I don't think they're that good on offense. I don't think there's no Omari and Hampton over there. Carolina just went through a long period of really good quarterbacks, going from T.J. Yates and Brent Renner all the way up to Sam Howell and Drake Mann. They don't have that right now. They pay a lot of money for Gio Lopez, but he is a work in progress, and he's more a work in progress because he's behind a patchwork offensive line that included a true freshman starting against TCU, a true freshman from Maryland, by the way. He went to good counsel, and he arrived in June, and he leapfrogged a bunch of older guys. So does that mean that he's a phenom or the older guys aren't that good? I think they're still trying to figure all that stuff out. And until they do, Carolina fans better significantly temper their expectations.
Well, and I understand when you get Bill Belichick 6 Super Bowl rings, the great defensive mind with Bill Parcells, and and in his days in Cleveland, he didn't do well in Cleveland with the Browns his first time around. And then when he went to New England, then he got some guy named Brady, and then he got everything hooked up perfectly. And now everybody, now he comes down to Chapel Hill. And when he came, everybody's like, "Oh, we could go to the ACC championship game. We're going to win big games." And I think now they really, like you said, now they're just realizing that he's doing a preseason mode of trying to figure out who's his running back, his quarterback, because you don't get a chance to do preseason games in college. It's not like in the NFL, you have 3 preseason games and say, all right, I know my quarterback is this guy. I know my running back is that guy. And like you're probably going to see again on Saturday, like, he'll bring the hot dog vendor and the parking attendant to come in to play, quarterback to see if he's the guy. It's one of those things that people got to realize. I think you might get it together probably middle of October, saying, okay, this is what I got.
Players, if they have the players.
Yeah.
They relied heavily on the spring portal, which is not where you win championships. In fact, they got their quarterback and the guy who calls the plays on defense. They got him in the spring portal. Now they're pretty good. Andrew Simpson came over from Boise State, a very good linebacker who could be an NFL player, and of course Gio Simpson, the quarterback. But I don't know. I think the jury's out if they have enough dudes. I think defensively they've got some intriguing players. They've got some playmakers in the back seven, but their defensive front is highly questionable. And if they can't at least be average, it's kind of hard to do a lot of stuff you might want to do defensively. You have to be very base and very solid in your base. And the defense is probably going to have to win games. Without being overly dramatic, they have been atrocious on offense. Let me give you a couple of stats. They've had 22 possessions this season. 12 of them they failed to get a first down. Only 4 possessions out of 22 they've gained more than 40 yards.
Wow.
They've had 13 possessions in which they didn't score that they used 2 minutes and 15 seconds off the clock or less. They're not playing complimentary football at all, because they don't know who they are. When we talked to, we had a lot of connections to different coaches around the country and a lot of different programs, and 2 NFL scouts who were there. And we asked them, just take some notes for us. We want to get your opinion on some things in the TCU game. And all of them to a man said that, and I'll paraphrase, they look like August 10th against the Eagles on a Thursday night when TCU was playing September 1st in a real game. Right. They look like they're behind. They're literally still evaluating. They played 30 guys on defense the other night. They're still evaluating. They don't know what they have. They don't know who might fit in what packages. They are out with a couple of guys are out. They have a defensive end from UConn, Bryce Yates out. Their best offensive lineman, Austin Blasky, is out, but I don't think that they would make a significant difference because that wouldn't help them know anybody else. I don't think they would throw the tight ends anymore. Right. I don't think they would be better blocking on the edge. They're terrible blocking on the edge. Bill described TCU before that game as a team that uses every blade of grass. That's a direct quote. Carolina uses as few blades of grass as possible offensively because they can't go wide. They're not vertical. They can't run power. Mm-hmm. So, again, 59 yards and a half against Charlotte. Charlotte's an abysmal team in total transition themselves. I think that's a heavy indictment. In all of our concentration this week, we're writing stuff about the offense, like what the offense needs to do to kind of take some baby steps forward, because they're not going to be in sprint mode anytime this season. So what can they do to move forward? And they got Richmond coming in, an FCS team, but a pretty good FCS team. They have a winning culture. They've averaged 9-10 wins a game in the last few years. They've been in the playoffs. They just picked up a win at Wofford the other day. You can laugh, but I bet you Wofford is everything that Charlotte is. So this is a game where North Carolina is going to have to be ready to play because Richmond's going to be confident they can steal a win. Again, I heard what you were saying with the Towson coach earlier. Get one of those FCS wins over an FBS. And man, what a story that would be if Bill Belichick lost to the Richmond Spiders. I'm not saying they're going to. I think that they'll win. They might win comfortably, but they must make progress on offense to win comfortably. Otherwise, it's going to be a boring game like the other night, and fans are really going to start wondering what on earth that this school's gotten themselves into, which I think is too early to do that. But, fans don't really have a whole lot of patience.
Well, and we cover the CAA now. They're in Richmond's now in the Patriot League, but we saw them a lot of time in the CAA. And Coach Hutzman is a very good coach, and they know how to play in Richmond. And I don't understand why they went back to the Patriot League. I think they should have gone forward, not backwards. I think they should have gone to like what Delaware is in Conference USA or the Sun Belt where James Madison is, and see if they could be it. Now they're going back to the Patriot League. But I think, I think they got to, North Carolina has to turn this around because when they get to that ACC schedule, the first game is against Clemson and Dabo, and Dabo, and if that's going to be a massacre if they don't fix this now.
Well, they haven't looked very good either. Their offense.
No, they got.
And you look at Carolina's ACC schedule. There's a lot of garbage on there. It's a terrible. So they got Stanford, they got Wake, Syracuse. I mean, they're running sprints after the game the other day.
Yeah.
Cal, I think Cal might be a little bit better than people thought, but it's still early for them. Duke couldn't compete late with Illinois at home. We don't know what NC State is just yet. So I think the ACC schedule gives them an opportunity to get some wins. Who knows about Clemson? Clemson's offense is terrible. They look awful so far through 2 games. So who knows what teams will be like in October. Carolina does have an open date before that game. They have an open date right before it and right after it. So they go a 26-day period where the only game that they play is Clemson. So you want to talk about setting narratives? If they're so going in and they get pounded by Clemson, boy, basketball season can't come fast enough for this crew. And they'll have a lot of time to talk about it because they won't want to talk about Clemson and football. They'll figure, well, let's see what Bill can do in the offseason. Because I think that they're probably getting close to it. As much hype as there was this time a week ago, a little more than a week ago, and I think there was a lot of optimism that it could work, but there weren't a lot of people penciling them into the ACC championship game. They were a little bit hesitant to do that because the fan base here has been burned a lot before. They've been promised and promised and promised, and they bumped their head on the ceiling. They could never break through. That's kind of the story of North Carolina football. This time, I think they were a little bit more hesitant to do that, but they were certainly optimistic. And the school did everything in its power to bring every bit of attention to it for that game with its stuff on social media, allowing Hulu to come in and film the team and do a weekly series on the football team and all the access that they gave to everybody but the local media, very little to us. I think that they sort of set themselves up for some of the things that are happening right now. And it got the fans pretty jazzed up. And now there are very few positives on our message board. I think we did about 7 million views in August on our site, and the message boards are a big part of that. And I would say 97% of the comments are either, I can't believe what I'm seeing, or my gosh, it's a fire drill time. This is a nightmare.
That's crazy. Matt, you have a question for Andrew?
Yeah. So any positives that we can pull out of the first 2 games, and also assess how Bill Belichick has done for the first 2 games as a college football head coach?
The positives are they have some playmakers on defense. I would say right now their top 5 or 6 players are all on defense. And they're all in playmaking positions. They're very strong. Thaddeus Dixon at corner, kid that came over from the University of Washington. He played in the national title game 2 years ago. He's an NFL player. He's dripping with NFL. He's got it written all over him. At safety, Gavin Gibson, a kid who played at Maryland a couple of years ago, transferred to ECU. Now he's at Carolina. He's a playmaker. He had a really good game the other day. He's physical. He's athletic. I can see him making the kind of plays that switch games around. Andrew Simpson at linebacker, Kamari House, who also came from Washington. He's extremely athletic at linebacker. They have a couple holdovers. Marcus Allen had a terrible game against TCU, but he recovered the other day, and he's a pretty solid player. So they've got players on defense. They can win, I think, with what they have on defense, but the offense is the huge question mark, and we just don't know. So the positives are, if you can get to the point where you could be decent on offense, they might be able to navigate the ACC schedule to the point where they can get to a bowl. They can get 6 or 7 wins, and at least they can have a respectable season and something tangible to build on. As far as how Bill's done, I will say this. A lot of people were very interested in what my experience was going to be like covering him and getting to ask him questions every time we're around and all that, and also getting to know how the inner workings go, talking to his right-hand handler and that kind of thing. He's not been the guy that he was with the Patriots. He's made himself accessible. We got him 4 times during training camp. Oh, wow. We thought we'd get him once going in. He gives us 22 minutes or so. We thought we'd get 10. He gives thorough answers. I do like his football 101 talk. It's sort of football nerd talk. I think it's good for the fans to hear it. I think it's good for the media to hear. When you talk about when you have a coach that goes into detail about striking blocks and defeating blocks, I love that stuff. That's when I think he's happiest and most comfortable, when he's just getting lost in the weeds of football. And he's allowed himself to do that with us every once in a while. And I think that's a positive. Now, I've also heard from sources in the athletic department and around the program that he's telling people he's having the time of his life. He's never had more fun coaching. He loves the teaching aspect, and he just loves the whole idea of being a part of this community where it's it's not the only thing like it was with the Patriots. It's one of other things that are there, and how the programs can use each other. Football and basketball try to use each other at North Carolina. Football's wise when they embrace basketball, because they're great recruiting opportunities when you have a Saturday afternoon game at the Smith Center in January and you bring in a bunch of kids, because there's going to be 22,000 people there and it's going to impress kids. So I think he likes that. I think he likes the fact that it's not just he and his staff, that there are other aspects to the football program, but he's also probably still getting used to it. Right. He's getting used to not having Robert Kraft around. He's getting used to the idea that you're Robert Kraft are about 5 million people that you communicate to through dudes like us. Yeah. The writers that are there all the time. So that's probably a challenge for him, but it's also probably pretty good, because none of those fans are going to knock on his door and have the kind of communication he and Robert Kraft had. So I think he probably likes that as well. Overall, I would say that it's probably a B+, simply because I think his heart is in it. I think the anchors are down in the ground. I don't think this is a 1-year thing and he's looking to go coach the Jets next year or something like that. I think he truly wants to show people he can get it done, especially, quite frankly, after these first 2 performances. Yeah. That's a bad look. And if nothing changes, people are going to be like, my gosh, what did you do to your reputation? Well, so I think he is intent on getting the job done there and winning there. And he's got 3 years with 2 added that are 3 guaranteed years and then 2 years that could roll over. So I think the 3 years are probably going to happen.
Yeah, and when we met him at the ACC kickoff, I had a chance to talk to him off the mic, and he was so nice to talk to. I asked him about Dave Petramala, who was his friend from Johns Hopkins, who's now there in North Carolina as a lacrosse one of the coaches. And we had Dave on when first Bill Belichick got hired. And I said,
we did.
I said, what type of person was Dave? I said, Dave, what type of person is Bill outside of the office? He goes, Bill is such a laid-back guy. He's totally different than the guy you see on, NFL Network, on to Cincinnati, and, all the small little talks and all that stuff. And you guys are probably seeing a whole different type of Bill Belichick going like, was this guy up in New England? What's going on?
I hear a lot about it. He has not come over and said, hey, AJ, I'm Bill. Let's get to know each other. Mac Brown would have us in his office off the record. Mac Brown knew about your personal life. Right. That's how Mac was wired. That's part of how he ran a program. I've covered a lot of other coaches that were a little different. Tom O'Brien knew a little bit about you, but didn't want to know too much about you, that kind of thing. Bill, I don't think really gives what about us right now, and that's okay, because he's got a lot of other new things to deal with. And right now he's got a team that suddenly looks like they stink, and he's got to figure it out. So the stuff about the personality, I've heard that he cracks a lot of jokes, that he makes players laugh all the time, and the players love the fact that there's a deep care. One of the snippets of practice we were allowed to watch, he was with the special teams working with the punt protection unit the whole time. I've never seen that. I saw Larry Fedora one time working with the punt protection unit. They were getting ready to play East Carolina, and I was taking some notes, and all of a sudden I looked up. I didn't see Larry, and he walks up behind me. He says, "What are you doing with all that? You're not going to report that, are you?" I'm like, "Well, you let the media in, and you're working on special teams. Why are you doing this with us here if you don't want us to report on it?" So there was a paranoid thing, but Bill didn't seem to have an issue with it. He's teaching hands-on punt protection stuff, which I thought was awfully cool. And that was sort of a Belichick moment that we've heard that he'll do that. We've heard that he'll grab a player and he'll demonstrate. He'll grab a player and he'll talk to him specifically about the intangibles of one little aspect of the game, which is probably what makes him happiest in life. And we got to see it firsthand. So it got to give him time. Like anybody, if this was any other coach, you'd give him time. Some people on the outside expected miracles. Some people on the outside thought that there were distractions that aren't really distractions because they have nothing to do with hand on the dirt or anything like that. I just think that let them go through the cycle. Let them kind of figure out what guys work, what guys don't work, what schemes work, what don't work, and they'll figure it out over time. I can't see this being a disaster long term, but on the surface, most of the snaps that I've seen through 2 games have been disastrous for North Carolina. It's been pretty ugly.
Exactly. Well, Andrew, we're up against the clock here. So, but thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk about the Orioles another time. We'll get you on, during the all-season football. We'll talk about the Birds and hopefully they get better next year. And, I'm going to see them take on the Yankees on the 19th here in Camden Yards. So,
I have some strong opinions about Mike Elias that might not go over too well.
Yeah,
so.
we'll have that another time. We'll have that. Yeah. You and I will have a little fun with that. But
yeah, I should probably run it by you before saying anything on the air.
Just call me and we'll talk about it.
Will do.
But
thanks for having me on. Good to see you again.
Yeah, nice seeing you again, and we'll keep in touch. Okay.
Absolutely. Likewise. Take care.
All right, buddy. See you. Bye.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right, that's Andrew Jones, who covers North Carolina. I had him on when I started doing this the show on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Chris, can I bring in our next guest?
Go ahead, bring him in.
Sure. So, folks, this past Saturday night, Oklahoma hosted the Michigan Wolverines out of the Big Ten Conference and pulled away with the victory. Now, Oklahoma has their first road test of the year this weekend as they head up to the city of brotherly love to take on Coach Keeler and the Temple Owls. So joining us now to review the game versus Michigan and to preview the game versus Temple, we have Mason Young from the Tulsa World joining us. So Mason, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And talk about this game versus Michigan. Obviously, it was a national television game. What are your impressions of how John Mateer did going up against the Wolverines, who has that sensational freshman quarterback in Bryce Underwood?
Yeah, well, thank you guys for having me on. Glad I could make it. And yeah, man, what a game Saturday night. 84,000 strong inside Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. And just a momentous win for Brent Venables. He really needed that. Obviously, they went 6-7 last year. He enters the 2025 season on the hot seat. And this was a game that a lot of us had circled as the biggest game of his career. And they delivered in every facet with dominant defense. And then, as you mentioned, John Mateer inserting himself as an early Heisman contender through 2 games. This was a really incredible stat from OU Stats and Information the other night. Through 2 games, he has the most passing yards for an OU quarterback through the first 2 games of the season since Josh Heupel in 1999. I mean,
oh, wow.
Way back in the time machine. But the Washington State transfer, he's been really excellent so far. An interception in each of his 2 games, but outside of that, not a lot of turnover worthy plays. The other night, he did it running the ball as well, just with toughness. Had 19 carries for 70+ yards and 2 touchdowns, and that was after throwing for over 300 against Illinois State in their openers. So he's been as advertised so far.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this game. You're going to Philadelphia. Oklahoma doesn't come to the East Coast that much. It's like once in the blue moon they come over here, and and they take on a Temple team. It's 2-0. Coach Keeler's taken over a Temple squad that was really bad last year, and he's been doing a lot of cleaning up, getting things back to where he used to be when he was at Delaware. You know, I feel like he knows what direction is what his teams go. What do you see from the Temple Owls? I know they didn't play tough teams yet. They beat a very sloppy UMass team, and then last week they took care of Howard at home. But what do you see first look at Temple?
Yeah, the quarterback, Evan Simon, really stands out. It sounds like he's really efficient. And I guess he said something today along the lines of, I've been waiting for this game since last year. And obviously, OU beat Temple 51-3 back in Norman last year. This is the second leg of a 2-for-1 in their scheduling agreement. And I think it'll be really interesting. Like you said, they don't venture out there very far. It'll be interesting to see how many OU fans make the trip for this, and just the element of playing in an NFL stadium is going to be, I think, a unique experience for a lot of the OU players. But obviously, you know, Temple, completely different team from last year, and so far they look a lot better. I know Casey Keeler was great at Sam Houston State. He's, you know, one of the winningest FCS coaches around, and so yeah, I don't expect it. If OU handles business right and does everything that they ought to do, you know, they should win significantly. But at the same time, I think the line opened at -28 today, right? And I think it's down to like -24 already. So it could be interesting, more interesting than OU Temple was a year ago in Norman.
Yeah, and I feel like, like you said, Chris Keeler, I knew him since the days at Delaware, and you know how he took that program and turned it around, and how bad it was that he got, you know, how he got forced out of Delaware, and then he goes down to Sam Houston State, changes their culture around. Now they're a good team now in the Conference USA, you know, trying to win games there. And now he's like back at Temple, and he knows the South Jersey, you know, Delaware area. So he told us when we saw him in the ACC at the American Athletic Conference media day, he was saying like he's trying to recruit that area just like the state of Texas, and I think that's a smart idea. I mean, if you look at it, and but we hope this is probably going to be one of his big wins ever if he knocks off Oklahoma, because I don't think he has one of those big signature wins. I don't think, except for winning a national championship twice, you know, Delaware and Sam Houston State. But this is a SBS, you know, Power 5 school, one of the blue bloods, and you know that could be one of those things that he goes fantastic, you know, or it could be bad.
Yeah, I mean, it would be astronomically disastrous for what OU wants to accomplish this year if that's what happens. That obviously moved inside the top 15 with their win over Michigan, and have their eyes on being a college football playoff team. So would be catastrophic for OU if they lost this game. And like you said, a really great moment for Temple, almost a unfathomable moment for, you know, a team that's first year new coach starting over from scratch. But never say never, right? Any given Saturday.
Exactly. And you have a question for him?
Yes, Mason. This is Oklahoma's second year in the SEC after coming over from the Big 12. So what's your overall take on how Oklahoma has done overall since joining the SEC?
Well, on the surface level, last year was not very good, right? 2-6 in conference. Your offense was like historically bad. I mean, like 1998 pre-Bob Stoops bad. And they flipped everything around in the offseason. They got a new offensive coordinator in Ben Arbuckle from Washington State, which obviously led to them also getting John Mateer as their quarterback. The defense has been really good. They really have done a good job under Brent Venables of getting the defense back to what it wasn't under Lincoln Riley. And they were competitive last year in the SEC and won OU some games. You know, at Auburn, they won on a pick six, and on when they beat Alabama at home late in the season, they won because of the defense getting a couple interceptions and just completely shutting down Jalen Milroe in the running game. So the defense has been great so far. I think, you know, again, it's this year it's going to be a top 20 defense in the country again, and in the upper echelon of the SEC based on what they've shown so far, what they were able to do against Michigan. It's just about the offense continuing to come along and be better. But based on what we've seen from Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer so far, I mean, it looks like they're going to be right in the thick of the SEC race.
Yeah, and I will say this, it is a second year in the SEC, and to see Oklahoma there, when the announcement was made that that they and Texas were coming over from the Big 12, I still have to get used to it. But Oklahoma has a good schedule ahead of them. After the Temple game, they have to face. After the Temple game, they have their SEC opener versus Auburn, and Auburn, they look really good in their season opener versus Baylor. You have Kent State at home, obviously the rivalry game versus Texas at the State Fair. I think the game at South Carolina should be interesting since the Gamecocks have Lenore Sellers at quarterback. Ole Miss should be a good game. You guys have to go to Tennessee and at Alabama. Alabama looked week 1 versus Florida State, and I would say they did rebound, this past weekend. And you finish with Missouri and LSU at home. So, what are some games in the SEC that Oklahoma fans should keep an eye on, when it gets time to conference season?
Well, I think the blanket easy answer is all of them, because you looked at the new AP poll after week 2 came out yesterday, and every one of their conference opponents is in the top 25, as are they. So it's going to be all of them. But just looking at some of those matchups you mentioned, right? I think when you look at a Texas and an Alabama, maybe they're not as good as you thought that they would be, and maybe that makes those games on the schedule a little bit less daunting. I would kind of say that about Ole Miss maybe as well. But then you look at some of those other games, Auburn, LSU, Tennessee, those teams might actually be better than you thought they were going to be going into the season. And then, Missouri is what they are. They're a solid team. And, that's sort of like an old Big 12 kind of rivalry. So that'll be, and that's OU's homecoming as well. So that'll be an important game. But yeah, it's a loaded schedule, no doubt about it. And they still have a lot to prove, but beating Michigan, you needed to show signs of progress there, and they did that. And it'll, as cool and interesting as this Temple road game will be, and as much as I'm looking forward to getting out to Philly and seeing what that's like, and I think the team is excited for it as well. The real test comes SEC week 1 after that, when you play Auburn and your former quarterback Jackson Arnold comes back, leads Auburn.
Yeah, that's right, Mason.
Yeah, they cannot afford to lose to Jackson Arnold and Auburn in their first SEC game at home. So it's kind of you had Illinois State that was kind of like let's just get through the game. Then you had Michigan that was like, okay, big game, we got to win this. And now the cycle is kind of repeating itself with Temple and Auburn coming up.
Right, exactly. Well, we're up against the clock here, Mason, but thank you so much for coming on, and I hope everything's okay with you and your family and everything else going on. And I hope you have a safe trip to Philadelphia, and have a good rest of your week.
Of course. Appreciate you guys.
All right, man. Talk to you. I see it. Bye. All right, that's Mason Young, who covers the Oklahoma Sooners, and Matt will be up there Saturday at 12 noon to cover that game. So, we'll have some of the post-game interviews from that next Monday night here on the program. So, Adam, you want to bring this next guy in?
Yeah. So, obviously, as y'all know, Chris and I love our FSU Seminoles. Right now they are the number 10 team in the country. And we always love talking to former FSU players. So this gentleman, he was a tight end at Florida State, and he has bounced around to several NFL teams, including the Houston Oilers, the Arizona Cardinals, the Detroit Lions. So let's bring in former FSU tight end and NFL tight end Patrick Carter is joining us tonight. So Patrick, thanks.
What's going on,
for
fellas?
joining us tonight.
How y'all doing?
What's your overall take on how Florida State has done this year after a crappy season last year?
I gotta be honest with you guys. After not being able to see them practice in the spring, so I didn't know what to expect against Alabama, and wow, they blew me away. And I'm from the old school where I'm normally not the trash talking type of guy, but the quarterback, man, hey, he stood on business, man. He stood on business.
Yeah. Adam and I talk about this all the time on our podcast on Saturday after the Knowles. I feel like Mike Norvell is really upset from the last couple of years. I want to say he's pissed off pretty much.
Why would you say that?
Because the way we saw him at the ACC kickoff, we were down there in the media zone, and he was basically, Adam looked at me after he was done talking. Man, that's like a son of the Alabama preacher down there. He was preaching the gospel of Florida State football, and
right.
He was getting himself really up, in the moment, and he was saying like, we're going to hold these kids accountable. We're going to do everything the right way. This is Florida State football, and it's a whole different thing what he was this year than last year when he was there. He was like, "Hi, thanks for coming. I want to go home now."
Yeah, but he got beat up last year though.
Yeah,
he got beat up last year. That was, but let's be honest here. The entire Seminole Nation kind of got beat up last year. You know what I'm saying? And we took a lot of arrows. Last year.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's funny. This time last year, we were talking about an 0-2 start, and we were trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And now 2-0, and we just blew out a team that my parents were like, East Texas A&M. Where did they play in the Independent League or something? Because but I think I called it last Saturday. It was a practice game.
Pretty much. We saw
90 players to play in the game, and we saw basically every quarterback that we had. I think Mike even called the hot dog vendor to come down and say, "Hey, you want to throw a pass?"
But I noticed Castellanos got out of the game kind of early, which was smart.
Right? Yeah, I think that's a great idea. If you're up 20-0 in the second quarter, get rid of your starters and let them go. It's like a preseason game. Like, let them go.
It really is. But then if you think about it, man, a lot of guys work just as hard as the starters, but they never get to play in the game.
Right.
So here's an opportunity for those guys to get their chance. So I love when opportunities like this come for them.
Well, I want to ask you a question. You played at Florida State with Bobby Bowden. What type of player was Coach Bowden? Because I almost had a chance to meet him. He was He was at the ACC Legends thing years ago. He got sick. He didn't show up. And I've been a Florida State fan since I was 9 years old. And I remember the first time I saw Florida State was the Blockbuster Bowl between Penn State and Florida State.
Yeah, I had a buddy that played for Penn State, a guy that from my neighborhood here in Sarasota.
Oh, nice.
That played on Penn State that game.
Yeah, and the quarterback was Casey Weldon, and I was a big Montana fan when I was a kid growing up, and Casey Weldon looked like Montana under the helmet.
He did.
And then I was like, I'll start rooting. And my mom said right after that game, my mother goes, your room turned into Florida State. It was
wow.
It was like, wow. Like your whole room just turned into, because I was trying to find, I didn't want to put maroon in a bedroom.
Right.
Really dark. But
I tell you what, if you're from the Casey Weldon era, then you had to love Amp Lee, because I love me some Amp Lee, man. Ooh.
Yeah. And I just love Bobby Bowden, and my brother Will my brother Will's a Hurricane fan, and I hate Miami.
So that's a good sibling rivalry going on there.
And you're also gonna go, oh my God, my little brother's a Gator fan too. So
wow.
So I had to deal with Florida State and Miami at Easter time, and my mother actually looked at us like, not trash talking, it's Easter. Stop.
Right. Right. But, man, if you got two brothers, man, after last season, man, you were catching some
oh my
darts.
God. Dude, I gotta tell you, I got ridiculed by my brother every weekend. The Miami guy. So how you doing today? I'm fine. Why? He goes, "Are you on suicide watch?" I'm like, "No, I'm not, but I'm okay."
Right.
But Miami's having issues too, so I just turn it around on him like, "You lost to Syracuse." You know.
Exactly.
Anyway, but it's funny. We were a kid. I never had the grades to go to Florida State. Never had the grades. I just fell in love with the team, and Bobby was that coach that was, he was an icon. What was it like playing for a guy like Bobby?
Wonderful coach. I mean, I don't play 10 years in the National Football League if I don't play for him. He always came at you from a spiritual level, but he had a way of motivating you, reaching down inside of us to get the best out of us. That's the best way I'd call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found a clip of you playing against Miami. So I think this is you with a nice catch over the towards the sideline.
That's me.
So what is it like playing against Miami? We all know about the
I always had some of my best games against them. I really did. So I really enjoyed those opportunities when we played them. Because they were going to get our best and we were going to get their best. Unfortunately, I only won one of those 4 battles though,
Yeah, I talked to Jimmy Johnson one time when he went to the Hall of Fame, and I asked him about the Florida State-Miami rivalry. He goes, "Well, it was always great because those two schools, Florida State and Miami, the winner goes to the Orange Bowl, and I said the loser goes to the CarQuest Bowl,
right?
Pretty much,
right?
Or the Sugar Bowl, whatever." And
what was the Sugar Bowl? Was something right? But
something like that. It was like the second tier, like
right.
But Jimmy
Florida, but now in fairness to the Gators, they would pop in there sometimes too when Spurrier, especially when Spurrier.
Oh my God,
along.
I talked to Spurrier.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I talked to Steve Spurrier about Florida State and Florida, and he was like, he goes, "We hated them."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
tell him the feelings mutual. It's mutual.
Yeah, it was. And I think Florida is still trying to figure out how to get back to where Steve Spurrier is. So.
Yeah. But I don't want to laugh at nobody else's misery right now. You know what I mean?
I know, understand.
I ain't laughing at nobody's misery right now.
I haven't talked to my brother Matt, who's a Gator fan. I haven't talked to him yet, so I don't know if he saw the game or he's just not saying anything to me right now. So
he probably still slowly recovering. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Hey, because if you really think about it, I mean, let's be honest here. It was always Florida State, Florida, Miami, and now here was South Florida beat you. So it's like you lost to a tier. I don't see South Florida that way, but some people may see it that way. Because I think South Florida is on the rise.
Yeah. Hey, they're going to play Miami on the CW on Saturday, and I feel really great for CW. They get a better game instead of Oregon versus somebody.
Well, see that tells me you don't. I predate you because we used to be on TBS,
right?
Ted Turner.
You did.
Yeah.
And people don't realize TBS actually had college football.
Right. That's exactly why I'm making
this
statement.
Yeah. I saw some of your games I was on YouTube and I was watching Auburn versus Florida State. I'm like, that's TBS.
Yeah, man. So we had some of our games.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, crazy times.
I know Adam has a question. Go ahead.
So when you were at the Houston Oilers, just talk about playing in the Astrodome. I mean,
I was only there 1 year, thank God. I'll be honest, my experience there with that team was really bad. The dome, I'm not a big turf guy. Playing for Florida State, we played on grass. And so being inside on the turf was well, the ironic thing was I got drafted by Detroit, the Detroit Lions, and they played in the Silver Dome as well. Right. So I was kind of initially forced to play there, but thank God for the Rams because majority of my career I played on grass. But to answer your original question, I mean, it's historic. I mean, I remember the first time I was like, oh man, this is where Earl Campbell used to play, because I used to watch him as a kid myself. So it was awesome being able to say I played in some of those, because now all of these places are historic now. The Astrodome, the Silver Dome, the Kingdom, they're all gone, you know.
Sad.
Exactly. Matt, you have a question for him?
Yeah. So how well do you think the Seminoles are going to be this year? Do you think they're going to make it to the playoffs, make it into the semifinals, championship game? How far do you think that they can go?
It's too early for me to make a prognostication, but I'll tell you what, I'll say this here. If Castellanos plays like he played against Alabama all year, I'm going to put us in the playoffs. I'm being honest. That's my opinion. If he plays like he played against Alabama all year, I'm putting us in the playoffs.
Nice.
Well, Pat, they're already talking about him. It's called everything that I've seen.
He should be in the conversation. He has to keep it going, but he should be.
Yeah, it's called. Yeah, I mean, it's like they're projecting him, to go to New York, and I'm thinking like, yeah, I mean, after 2 games, it's like, he did back up what he said against Alabama.
He backed up what he said.
And it's like, I know it was week 1, but to see Florida State like that, after all the crap that they've been through the last couple of years, it was like.
I'm proud of Coach Norvell, too, though. I'm proud of him.
Oh, of course.
Battling through this, you know what I mean? Because I'm just telling you now, this coaching business ain't for the weak, boy. It's not for the weak, man. It's not for the weak. But speaking of coaches, I really think it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, hiring Gus Malzahn. Brilliant. That was a brilliant hire now.
Yeah. I think it's great.
I didn't understand it then, but obviously he saw what this was. Brilliant hire.
That's true. Yeah, it is. It's a good hire, and
brilliant.
We talked to Mike. I talked to him at the ACC kickoff, and I asked him. I said, "Is it great that Gus Malzahn is your coach? One of your coaches that you actually could be a head coach, and you don't have to be an offensive coordinator. You don't have to be the defensive coordinator. You can just be coach."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Yeah, it's great that I have all these great coaches with me, and I could actually feed off of them."
Right.
And that's a great thing. And that's and right after that Florida game last year, I remember right after he goes, "I'm sorry for what happened." Yeah. And I think
but you know what? Well, let me ask you guys.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think here's what I think it was. I think we were 13-0 two seasons ago.
Right.
We lost Jordan Travis. We get shut out from the college football playoff, Bradacco. So we go to the Orange Bowl. All the players that we had all opted to the NFL. So basically, Mike was trying to find somebody to play.
Right. But we never replaced those guys either.
True.
Yeah.
That's true, Pat.
We lost too many guys at one time to replace,
Right.
True.
And we got slacked and destroyed in the Orange Bowl. And then I think that affected us from last year to carried over to last year because a lot of the players are like, what are we playing for?
Right.
If we can't go to college football playoff, why are we playing football?
Yeah, that left. I'm sure it left a bad taste in a lot of kids' mouth.
Right.
But I'll be honest with you, I would have loved to have seen our team with. With Jordan Travis, I like to see our chances. I loved our chances. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Without Jordan Travis, I didn't like our chances.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't like our chance.
Exactly.
Even though I'm biased now, I still thought we should have gone because of what we earned. We earned that, but I didn't like our chances.
Yeah. Well, Pat, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I love
talking. Sir.
We love having you back. We'll try to get you on one of our podcast things on Saturday night we have Priscilla Proctor, who is Bill Proctor's daughter. And Daniel Kelly and Johnny Mack. Johnny Mack's one of those hardcore Florida State fans, so he loves.
Okay.
He tailgates. So I'll see if I can get you on one of those. Maybe that big game against Miami. We'll get you on for that one.
Okay, definitely. Appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me.
So much.
All right, take care now.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that's Pat Carter, who former Florida State tight end and really good person to talk to. I think we could talk.
Yeah. All right, Chris, can I bring in our last guest?
Yes, this is our last guest, folks.
Folks, as y'all know, we love talking to everybody. Well, our last guest does something that a lot of people find interesting and kind of crazy. He's a competitive eater.
Well, I have a video. Let's play the video.
I mean, it's called if you're.
This is Australia's biggest burger. Today we're at Brooklyn Depot in South Bank, Brisbane, to put an end to the argument of who has Australia's biggest burger. The team created a burger concept with 80 beef patties and 80 cheese slices, with a few burger buns in between. They even made their own custom burger stand, which weighed 2 kilos and was a meter high. This took a team to assemble, but we got it out to the table and it weighed in at 9.5 kilos. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Australia's biggest burger. My strategy for eating this: start at the top and work your way down. Mix in some Coke Zero as you go. I had to stand up because it was so tall, and some of the meat was piping hot. At the 15-minute mark, I was feeling good, but I started to deteriorate quickly. The meat sweats were real, and I was starting to get a cheesy belly. There's only so much meat and cheese one can handle. I battled for just over 50 minutes, but then I decided to call it a day. I managed to eat 6.5 kilos worth of Australia's biggest burger.
Yeah, so folks, you know that it's called, professional bowler Jason Belmonte is from Australia.
Yeah.
Well, so is he. So let's bring in the number 4 ranked competitive eater according to the International Federation of Competitive Eating. James Webb is joining us here tonight. So James, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And you actually competed at the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest at Coney Island. So what was that like to represent your country of Australia?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, look, as an Aussie, getting to be a part of the 4th of July weekend in this country is massive, as it is. And then obviously competitive eating in this country is very much a thing. And obviously 4th of July, Coney Island is the biggest thing for us. To be a part of that and finish third is amazing.
Yeah, talk about the how do you there's like a scientific thing for these hot dogs, because I'm from New York and I know about Nathan's hot dogs. They're very spicy hot dogs, so I feel really bad for whoever goes in the restroom after you guys, because it's like I feel bad because I know all about the hot dogs, but there's like a technique that you guys do. Like I was there one time watching it, as a fan, because my ex-girlfriend took me over there to Coney Island, and it was pretty cool to watch it. But you guys, work really hard trying to. How do you get the? I know bread fills you up, but how do you not get the bread to fill you up to get those hot dogs down the chute there?
Yeah, so like with everything, right? Technique is everything. So obviously we train for this. To be top 4 in the world at anything, top 4 or anything, you've got to put the effort in. So a lot of us are practicing months out with our technique. So obviously separating the hot dog from the bun, eating the hot dog while you dunk the bun, and then using that soggy bun to get it down as fast as you can. It's a lot. It's a lot, but you know what? It's awesome. And that contest is like, for the life of me, I don't understand why you Americans love hot dogs so much. But honestly, like, there's so many better foods out there. Obviously, come from Australia, we don't really eat hot dogs, but it's an experience. It's cool, and you know what? We all know when it's hot dog season. When hot dog season comes around, it's game time.
Yeah. So you were here in Maryland last Friday for the Wild Catch Blue Catfish Chowdown. So I know about catfish because my brother fishes a lot, but catfish to me it's good to eat. But how did you win this whole competition? Walk us through how do you guys do all this? Did you guys have to eat a sandwich, or did you have to have them all fried up in Old Bay or something? What did you have to do?
Yeah, so these were fried catfish strips. To be honest, that's like probably the first time I've ever eaten catfish like that.
Okay.
It kind of looked like chicken tenders, but it was obviously fish. And we started with a big bowl, a big 10-pound bowl, and you get 10 minutes to eat as much as you can. And then they weigh everyone's bowl at the end. And whoever has the lightest bowl, eat the most catfish, wins.
Oh, okay. Wow. So it's just like a scientific stuff to this stuff, So not like Adam and I could just, when he comes over this weekend, I'm going to be like, hey, we're going to have 16 hamburgers in 15 seconds. Let's go. It's like it's more like trained for it.
Yeah, look, if I had $1 for every time someone said, "Oh, I could do that," we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? But yeah, look, we do train for this. There's a couple of aspects. Obviously, you've got the food aspect. Spoke earlier about the hot dogs with the technique, separating the hot dog for the bun or whatever it's going to be. But the physical aspect is massive too. Like a lot of competitive eaters have come from a sporting background, so we train. You've got to be relatively fit. Believe it or not, for that 10 minutes when you're smashing that food, you're not really breathing very much. You're holding your breath for long periods of time. Obviously, you've got to stretch your stomach. You got to be able to swallow large amounts and like chew hard, right? So
yeah,
there is a lot of training that goes into it to be good at it.
Yeah, I think, and then like I'm shocked because when you guys are very fit guys, and girls too. They all look like they're working out, and you probably have to do that because you got to get rid of the lbs so you don't balloon like look like me on a Saturday afternoon. Like after a bag of Doritos. And
I spent a lot. We spent a lot of time in the gym.
Yeah, but you guys spent a lot of time to get that off of you. So, and I was very impressed that I'm thinking like, all right, this guy's a heating contest guy. He must be like my weight, and I'm like, I'm looking at the picture going, damn, he lost all that weight. What the heck is going on here? But seriously, I'm thinking that's where you get the mindset. You're thinking, you're a competitive eater. You must be 600 pounds, and you might have to have somebody bring you into the ring. But you guys work out, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I think the combination of going to the gym and baggy t-shirts to help hide it, it works wonders. But to be honest, like we all do train. Like if you look at all of us, especially the top eaters, we do spend a lot of time in the gym. And also a lot of us got into competitive eating. Like, okay, like let's be honest, like say like I used to play soccer and then I was really into bodybuilding, right? So you diet all week, or a lot of people diet all season, and then the first chance they get to eat some like fun food, they go a bit crazy, right? But the other thing is like it's kind of like a thing. All right, man, if I go out and eat this burger, I can get a free meal because that's how challenges kind of work, right? And then it's like it's like anything, right? It's like when I first started playing soccer, no one knows that you're good at soccer until you try to kick a ball, right? So I feel like eating is like it's very much like you already kind of got the knack for it. But like anything, right? Once you kind of got it, you can train to be better at it. And like we all know, you Americans, man, you turn anything into a sport.
Yeah. Now, James, since you're from Australia, we all love professional bowling on here, and there's a well-known professional bowler from Australia named Jason Belmonte. I don't know if you've ever gotten a chance to see him, participate, or have you ever heard of Jason Belmonte before?
I have not, but I'm gonna have to look him up. If there's a fellow Aussie in America, I gotta look him up.
Yeah, it's called. He's known as the two-handed wonder from down under. He's considered to be one of the best professional bowlers of all time. He's originally from Orange, New South Wales, Australia. He flies over here to compete on the PBA tour, and he has won so many majors, so many events. So it's called, since you're from Australia, it's called, I thought I would mention another Aussie.
I'm going to have to look him up. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, James, what are you, what's next for you, for the rest of the summer or spring and fall, whatever you got to do?
Yeah, so this is one of the most craziest months for us. So with competitive eating, we kind of have 2 blocks in the season. Obviously, they give us time off to kind of get our body right and things like that. So obviously, the first block is like Easter through 4th of July. That's chaos, competing every week or every other week. And then we have September. So from the last weekend in August until like the first weekend in October, I've got a contest every weekend.
Oh, wow.
So I've been to Buffalo. I was in Maryland. Then I flew from Maryland. I competed in Toronto, Canada. And now I'm in Jersey. We got a contest, a pork roll contest in Trenton, Jersey this Saturday. And then from Jersey, I head to San Antonio. Got a taco contest next weekend in San Antonio. And then the weekend after that is tamales in Dallas.
Oh, my God. Jeez. So So Matt, do you have a question for him before we go? I know you're a big eater like I do. We polish off some plates at the media sometimes, but do you have any questions for James?
Yes, we do, Chris. We just don't go for first. We go for seconds, thirds, maybe even more,
Respect.
depending on the food.
Exactly.
But yeah, so what is your favorite eating contest?
Look, the best way to answer that is the food you enjoy. So, like chicken wings, donuts, I have both those world records. I've got a sweet tooth, so I also got the chocolate fudge world record. And last year, so my favorite food actually is pizza. I narrowly lost to Jeff Esper last year by like half a slice. So I love pizza as well.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, we appreciate you coming on tonight. I hope you enjoy the contest this weekend in Jersey, and have safe travels to San Antonio and Dallas, and we hope to catch up with you down the road. Okay.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Keep eating.
You're welcome.
All right, man. Have a great evening.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, mate.
All right, that's a little wide world of sports action there.
Very low to bring you the constant variety of sports. Yes.
Last week we were trying to do cycling. This week was repetitive eating. I'll find something in my crazy brain.
Oh, knowing you. Yes, you will, Chris.
I see stuff. It's like I get emails from like and how we hooked that up was I got a random email from the lady about catfish eating contest. I'm thinking, well, that sounds pretty interesting. It's like maybe we'll try it. And Nicole was like, they have a competitive eating? Yeah, that's disgusting. Like people tune into it. And there's
yeah, I mean, I watched the Nathan. I always watch the Nathan Samus hot dog eating contest every year, and it's like, I mean, and for you folks who don't know, they actually have qualifiers around the country, and if and if you qualify at one of the qualifiers, you go to New York City.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so there you go. Something you did not know about competitive eating until now.
Yeah. Well, there's a final up in Philadelphia. Mets lost 1-0.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. So
Well, that was a pitcher's duel.
Yeah. So we're 8 games out of first place, and I guess we just got to worry about the wild card. That's all we need to worry about.
Yeah, it's called. I guess the Braves will fight back in 2026.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate you all joining us tonight. We're sorry we couldn't get Jeff Culhane on. He just emailed me. He had a situation at the house, so we'll try to get him on in one of those days when the Florida State doesn't have his coaches show this time of year. So we appreciate, and we'll try to get other people on. Next week we'll be live here at 7:30 again. And we'll recap our Towson, Maryland game. Matt, there's some great interviews from hopefully from Oklahoma Temple. You can bring that out. We'll recap those games at the beginning of the show, and then we'll bring us. Hopefully, we get somebody on next week. I think I'll reach out to some people I already contacted, but
Yeah.
But we appreciate you all joining us tonight on Monday Night Football. I know that I don't know who's winning that Vikings Bear game.
I can give you an update, Chris.
Okay.
Right now, update. It is 10-6 Chicago, almost at halftime.
Okay. Well, folks, we appreciate you joining. Matt, thanks for coming on tonight, bud.
Oh, no problem, guys.
And have a safe trip in Philadelphia on Saturday, and enjoy that gorgeous food in that press box.
Oh, I will. I'll be enjoying that. Maybe I'll have my own eating contest.
Yeah.
And I'll be enjoying the game and everything. And you and Adam, you guys enjoy the game as well. The Towson, Maryland game.
Thank you. It's called. It'll be fun. First game outside of the ACC football championship game, and I know Chris is going to take good care of me this weekend. So.
Oh yeah, we got Adam taken care of. We're all set.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
So. Well, Adam, we'll see you Friday afternoon here in.
Yes, you will. Yeah.
We'll see you in Virginia. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see me in Virginia.
Exactly. So we'll leave you tonight with a song that was number 4 on the charts on this day in 19. Hold on a second. I wrote all this stuff in 1977. James Taylor's "Handyman." So this is a live version of the song. So we wish you folks good luck this week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you all next Monday. And hopefully we'll have some great upsets. You never know. So here it is.